Okay. It won't be pointed towards me. That's good. Okay, perfect. Thank you. So we have this class every day at 5 o'clock on the Chaitanya Charitamrita. But I guess tonight we'll give a class about Kartik instead of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. But first we're going to chant the Dhamma Rashik. Is that all right? Yes. Everybody knows the Dhamma Rashik? Let me just get this set. All right. We are ready to roll. It's on page 35. So, maybe we'll be enthusiastic when we chant the Dhamma Rashik. So we're going to ask everyone, if you feel like it, to get up and dance instead of just like sit down and fall asleep.
We offer the lamp also now right now?
What?
We offer the lamp also now?
Yeah. Okay. Now that's this thing. Hare Krishna. All right. Okay, so first I'll offer the lamp and then we'll chant after that. Let me offer the lamp first.
This is getting the lighter.
The lighter. So this is a very special month. It's the month of Kartik. Kartik is the month of Damodar, which we worship Lord Damodar. And we're going to speak about Kartik in a second. Okay, and I'll just offer the lamp and then I'll lead the chanting. Okay, Lord Damodar ki jai. And chant this very nice prayer written by Satyavrata Muni, not Satyavrata who's here. It's a different Satyavrata, it's from the Padma Purana. So what do I do with it? It's okay. You just put that there so I can follow it and it's a little bit different than you're used to. Let's see if we can follow along. Actually, let's see, where's the best place? That's right here. Okay. Ready? And no cartels with it, just the drums. assemble devotees. Do we have another kirtan, or should we? Whoops. Or something softer. Okay. We'll do something else. Yeah, that was good exercise. That was my jogging for today. Try something softer. Yeah, open up the windows. There's very little air here. Yeah, please open them all up to the, especially with a mask. Makes it really. Okay. Okay. Hey. request? What? During Kartik, yeah. Okay. Your request.
Diwali is coming.
Diwali, yeah.
We're going to start with chanting my Hanuman song, and then we'll chant Raghupati Raghava. Still more or less in tune. Thank God I haven't broken a string yet.
Surprised.
I'm surprised too. Last Sunday during the Sunday program, I broke a string when we were chanting the Dhamma Rashik. I just have to keep playing. I can't keep playing. Everybody knows this song, the Hanuman song. And then we chant Raghupati Raghava Raghava.
Hanuman,
Yeah, but the string's broken on it. All right. In the next few days, we can do that. You can turn it down a little bit because it's feedback. That's fine. Okay, so what are we going to speak about? So you started me talking about Hanuman, so I'm going to talk about Hanuman's relationship with Krishna. How about that one? From the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, I just thought of that. So, this is the story from the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Okay, Om Gana Timirandasha, Gananjana Shlokera, Chakshur Minikam Yena Tasmai, Shri Namaha. So, under my respectful obeisances under the lotus feet of my spiritual masters, Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, Ki Jai. Founder Acharya, the Son, and the Savior of all of us. So, actually, Prabhupada sometimes compared himself to Hanuman, because Hanuman crossed the ocean, and Prabhupada crossed the ocean too. And so, but those of us who think we can imitate Hanuman, there's an interesting Bengali saying, big, big monkey, big, big belly, Ceylon jumping melancholy. So if you think you can imitate Hanuman or Prabhupada, you're going to fall flat on your belly. So we actually, there's two words, anusar, anukar. One means to imitate, and the other one is to follow in the footsteps. So we follow in the footsteps of Prabhupada, we don't imitate him. So let's talk about Hanuman's relationship to Krishna. So this is a story from the Brihad Bhagavatamrita told by Sanatana Goswami. So once upon a time, Krishna was in Dwarka, and he was there with his queen, Rukmini. And also at the same time, there was Krishna's carrier, Garuda, the bird carrier. Krishna says in the Gita of birds, I am Garuda. So, and anyway, Garuda is so strong that it's described that even when Indra fired his thunderbolt at Garuda, because Garuda was stealing the nectar, this is a story from the Mahabharata, not from the Brihad Bhagavatam, sort of mixing and matching. When then Indra got very upset when Garuda was taking the nectar, because Garuda wanted to feed it to his snake brothers so that he'd be freed from their entanglement. So anyway, so Indra fired his Vajra or thunderbolt, and Garuda, he just said, all right, I'll just drop one feather. And Suparna, he got the name, that means, amazing feather. His feather was so big that it practically could cover the whole universe. So he just dropped the feather just to respect Indra's thunderbolt. Otherwise, nobody can interfere with Garuda, so, except for Hanuman. So anyway, so Krishna was there, and he said to Garuda, I would like to see Hanuman. And Garuda said, I'll go get him. And no way he's going to be able to refuse me. And Krishna said, okay, go get him. And Garuda gets proud sometimes. Sometimes he gets very proud, and he says to Krishna that without me, you wouldn't be able to go anywhere. Just like, I'm dependent on my car. And without the car, I can't go anywhere. But I'm sure someone will drive me. So he said, without me, you couldn't go anywhere. And so previously, Krishna said, all right, let's see. And he put his elbow on Garuda. And Garuda, he said to Garuda, fly, bird, fly. And Garuda got crushed. And so Garuda got a little humbled at that point. Because you have to be humble to actually make progress in Krishna consciousness. And Krishna does that to all of us. He makes us humble. Oh, there's some devotees coming. Just in time to hear this thing about humility. So Krishna makes us humble through different means. He pulls the rug out from under us in different ways. Of course, we're all not like Garuda. We're like a little sparrow. But still, Krishna does that. Yashaham anagranami harishe tadvinam shanai. that Krishna takes away religion, all we can do is chant Hare Krishna. So anyway, so Garuda was told to get Hanuman. Hanuman was in this place called Kim Purusha Loka. Kim Purusha means, is it a human being or is he a human being? And Hanuman is continually worshipping these deities of Sita and Ram. And these deities of Sita and Ram were passed down from Vivaswan. It's a very interesting story. Vivaswan, Manu, Ikshvaku, as you find in Bhagavad Gita, they actually were worshipping the deities of Sita and Ram before Sita and Ram actually appeared on this earth planet. During this particular day of Lord Brahma, because Sita and Ram appear during each day of Lord Brahma, just once, like Krishna and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Vivaswan was worshipping the deities of Sita and Ram. He gave them Manu gave to Ikshvaku. Lord Ram put the deities in his closet because Lord Ram didn't want to worship himself. It's not a good idea. Although Krishna does worship himself. It's interesting. Actually, I'm just telling stories within stories, wherever my mind goes to. So it's interesting. Krishna, when he gets up in the morning, meditates on himself. Whereas Lord Ram, you find so many stories, he worships Lord Shiva. And anyway, but Krishna is kind of an unusual character. As far as all the incarnations of God, he's the most unusual, most attractive, most intimate personality. So these deities, getting back to the deities were actually put in the closet by Lord Ram, but then there was a devotee, a Brahmin, in Lord Ram's kingdom, Ayodhya, who would not eat unless he saw Lord Ram that particular day. So Lord Ram eventually gave the deities to him, so he could just do an offering and eat anytime he wanted to. That's nice. That's why we have deities at home, so we can eat anytime we want to. The deities in the temple are different. We can only eat when they want to. But that's the advantage of home deities. Anytime you're hungry, all right, Krishna, it's time for you to eat. Isn't it true? That's why we have temple deities, because then we're thinking of Krishna's pleasure. With the home deities, we're thinking like Krishna becomes like the checkout counter at the supermarket. So that's why it's good for you to go to Nugaloka. Even Krishna's on your altar, but somehow or other, sometimes we develop the consciousness that he's serving me instead of us serving him. In the temple, it's just like, okay, Krishna has to eat. He has a certain diet. He doesn't follow the same diet as me. He's not worried about his health. He doesn't eat boiled vegetables and kasha like me. So we just have to do what Krishna wants in the temple. It's a real austerity. We're at home, we do what we want. So, anyway. So, this Brahmin, he had deities of Sita and Ram, and he could eat whatever he wanted to. Of course, he was following strict procedures. And then, later on, this Brahmin gave the deities to Hanuman. And after Hanuman, he gave them to Madhvacharya. And these deities are now in Udupi. You can actually go to Udupi now and see these deities of Sita and Ram. These are the original deities. So Udupi is a very famous place, of course, where it's the seat of Madhvacharya and the followers of Madhvacharya. So it's a very, very important place in East India. It's on the shore. So anyway, so Hanuman, let's get back to Hanuman. So Hanuman was worshipping these deities. And Garuda flies there and says to Hanuman, you're coming to see Krishna. And Hanuman is very interesting because he's actually very much dedicated to his Ishtadeva. Like all of us, which is interesting, we all have a specific form of Krishna or his various expansions in terms of our own ras or taste of relationship. Right now we've forgotten what it is. Right now our emotions are what's called bhava rogue. Bhava rogue means like you're sick, rogi. You know what a rogi is, everybody? Means a sick person. Like Prabhupada said jokingly one time, if you have to go anyway, if you have to relieve yourself, trying to say it in some polite way. If you have to relieve yourself one time a day, you're a yogi. And if you have to relieve yourself twice a day, then you're a bogey. And if you have to relieve yourself more than that, you're a rogi. Rogi means a sick person. And rogue means sickness. Anyway, so, bhava rogue, the emotions we experience in this world. So every one of us has a particular deity or form of God that we're worshiping. And it's very unique. You can't force someone to worship, when they become pure, to worship a form that they're really not that attracted to, like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He had some associates that were devotees of Lord Ram, like Murari Gupta. And he tried to tell him, just worship, chant Hare Krishna. Murari Gupta tried, he couldn't do it. Because Murari Gupta is an incarnation of Hanuman. And he just tried all night. He stayed awake all night trying to chant Hare Krishna instead of Sitaram, Sitaram, Raghupati, Radha, Raja, Rampati, Pavana, Sitaram. So all night long, and then after a while he was thinking, I'm just going to commit suicide. Because I can't give up my devotion to Lord Ram. This is a standard conflict situation. You understand? Conflict means, like Lord Chaitanya told him, chant Hare Krishna. But he couldn't give up his attachment to Ram. So it was just like, we've all been put in conflicts, not spiritual conflicts. Like, what sort of job should I get? And some of you, should I get married to this person or married to that person? Anyway, there's different conflicts, and that causes stress. So he was put in this conflict, and he wanted to commit suicide because of this conflict. And when he told this to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu praised him. He said, how glorious it is that someone is attached to the worshiping form of the Lord. So Lord Chaitanya was actually testing Murari Gupta. Same thing happened with Anupama, the brother of Rupa and Sanatana Goswamis. So anyway, Hanuman, he's very attached to Lord Ram, and he just basically doesn't want to hear about any other form of the Lord. Actually, Prabhupada, in one of his purports in the Gita, he actually reveals his meditation on the original form of Krishna in Vrindavan. He said one should just meditate on the form of Krishna, not be interested in any other. Now that is not an absolute statement for everybody. One really has to understand something called hermeneutics. Hermeneutics means how to understand Prabhupada's statements. It was a statement of Prabhupada's bhav, or emotional ecstasy, which may be different for someone else. Some of you may be great devotees of Lord Nrsimhadev. Some of you may be great devotees of Lord Ram. Some of you may Kurma, Matsya. So everybody has their own relationship. And even with Krishna, you may be a gopi, you may be a coward boy. I was just hearing something nice today about the coward boys. That sometimes the demons appear to attack Krishna and the coward boys just to have the coward boys take a break from their place so they can eat lunch. It says that in the Bhagavatam. It's really interesting. And that's a story of a Gasur in that particular chapter of the Bhagavatam. So the Gasur came because the coward boys were playing and having such a good time that basically they weren't going to stop to eat. And so Agasur performed the pastime or the service of getting the coward boys to stop so they could take lunch after they got swallowed, of course. After Agasur tried to have lunch too with the coward boys. So each and every one of us has a particular form of the Lord when we're purified. right now, unless you're completely purified, Shuddhabhimana, Kabe Hama, Hirabo Shivridavana, you can't really understand what that form of the Lord is that you're supposed to worship. In fact, it'll just be a projection of your own material experiences, material vision, material mentality, that if you try to understand what is the particular form of the Lord, who am I in the spiritual world? I've given the example many times before when I was a new devotee. We talked about this morning at the breakfast. When I was a new devotee, after 2 days of the movement, I thought I was a coward boy. Why? Because I was sitting with all the brahmacharis. You know, brahmacharis, like the boys, the gang. We were sitting with them all, and we were just saying, hey, we're all coward boys. All of us buddies are coward boys. So we were projecting our conception, you know, because we were all 20-year-old guys who just got finished partying at a university a few months ago. Because I never partied. That's the truth. I never partied. I didn't like it. So anyway, but we were just 20 years old, and we just thought, you know, guys. And, you know, for fun, we'd go and do certain things, and the temple president said you only have to eat at the temple, but we had taste for other things, that we'd go out and buy bell peppers and eat them, you know, big sinful activities that we performed. So people oftentimes project their own material conceptions to determine who they are in the spiritual world. So that comes later. Actually, how do you know when you're on that platform? When you try to think of Maya, the mind goes back to Krishna. Right now, if we try to think of Krishna, the mind goes where? Maya. Like if I try to think of Krishna right now, then automatically I'm thinking, what am I thinking? I don't know. Well, thinking of Krishna. But anyway, so, you know, the mind will go to something, the bills that you have to pay, the headaches you have, your stomach ache, your headache, your heartache, your computer, and the batteries run. No, the batteries run. So when your mind, when you try to think of illusion the best you can, and the mind just, I can't think of Maya. It's impossible. I can't get my mind on Maya. What's wrong with me? Then you know you're ready to think of your relationship with Krishna at that particular point. But everyone has a particular individual relationship, and you're very special to Krishna, and Krishna is very special to you. And Krishna is so amazing that he can be with everybody simultaneously, just like he's in everyone's heart, has a simultaneous relationship with everybody, individual, simultaneous relationship with everybody. And in the spiritual world, it's like that. Krishna will remember your name. Krishna's not going to say, who are you again? Are you my part and parcel? He doesn't need a database because he's omniscient, omnipotent, all these other things like that. So anyway, get back to Hanuman. So Hanuman has this relationship. He's the servant. He's not the buddy of Lord Ram. Lord Ram does have friends too. Give me a name of one of Lord Ram's friends. Sugriva. He's one of Lord Ram's friends, right? Lord Ram has brothers. What are Lord Ram's brothers? Lakshman. So he has brothers. Lord Ram has mothers. Who? Kaikeyi. She has that motherly affection. So Lord Ram has servants too. Who's the servant of Lord Ram? Hanuman, right. That was a difficult one. So Lord Ram has servants. So all these different relationships, Lord Ram also has conjugal relationship. Sita. Who else? No one else. But what about Krishna? How many relationships does Krishna have? Krishna has 16,108 wives and unlimited girlfriends. So, but Lord Ram is Maryada Purushottam, because he is showing us how we should act. You know, one life, one wife. Or if you're a sannyasi, one life, no wife. That's even better. So, so Lord, anyway, that's why Lord Ram is called Maryada Purushottam, because he sets the best example of etiquette and manners and all that other stuff like that. And Lord Ram is just so wonderful that he even, when he was the king, he even listened to a dog. You know that story? The dog came and complained. And he said, and Lord Ram said, what is the complaint? And he said, this Brahmin has been beating me. And Lord Ram, being very merciful and being a good judge, passed judgment on the Brahmin, because the Brahmin was beating a dog. Can you imagine that? Being punished because you're beating a dog? And the punishment for the Brahmin was that he had to become temple president in his next life. You know that story? The reason he had to be... The reason he had to become... Because whatever you're in charge of, you actually have to take responsibility for everybody who's under you. Oh my God. And that's how the dog became a dog. Because in his past life, he was in charge of the ashram. Let's not say temple. He was in charge of the ashram and he had to do that. So Lord Ram was just very equal poise to everyone. You know, Pati Tapam and Asita Ram. Rajapati Raghava Raja Ram Pati Tapam and Asita Ram. And by chanting Ram's name, even someone like Valmiki, Ravanagar, became a great personality. So, anyway, so let's get back to the story. So, the Garuda goes to Hanuman and says to Hanuman, we want to see you in Dwarka. Krishna wants to see you. And Hanuman said, no. Because I only follow one person's orders. Ram. If Ram doesn't tell me to do, Ram told me, stay here, chant Ram's name, worship the deities, and I'm going to stay until Lord Ram's name is not known at all anywhere in the material universe anymore. So one may say, isn't that a curse that Hanuman couldn't go back to Godhead with Ram and the other residents of Ayodhya? No. Because Ram and the name of Ram are non-different. What they say at funerals, Ram Nam Sachadev. But we should say that all the time. It's not just at funerals you say Ram Nam Sachadev. Nama Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shada Dichibhusto Vidatvam Namanami. No. That the name of Krishna, the name of Ram, is non-different than Ram. And if you're properly hearing the name from a pure devotee and repeating the name, Ram is there with you. So you're not separated from Ram. You may not see Ram, or Prakata. So he's not manifest to you, but he's right there with you. Krishna's right there with you. So anyway, so Hanuman was very dedicated to Ram, and he said, no, I'm not following anyone else's instructions. Just go back. And Garuda said, no, I'm not going back. You're coming with me, buddy. Monkey. You're coming with me. And Hanuman says, you think so? This was actually a plan of Krishna to teach Garuda a lesson. So Hanuman just like basically twitched his tail a little bit. Of course, he didn't have to do it with his hands, you know. I'm projecting my own conception of monkeys. Monkeys could just turn around and do that with his tail. I mean, his tail was like amazing tail. He could extend it, just like when he burnt Lanka. And he could do so many things with his tail. The tail is the most precious part of the monkey. That's what actually, that's actually what Ravana said. That's why they should burn his tail. Anyway, so Hanuman just twitched his tail, and Guru went flying back, head over, I guess not tail, whatever, because Guru didn't have a tail. I guess tail feather. He went just slipping back and landed at Krishna's feet. And Krishna said to him, "What's the problem?" He said, "Hanuman won't come." And Krishna said, "You were really proud to do that. So this time you go back and you tell him that Sita and Ram want to see him." Then Krishna, this is also a very important point that deals with what we call tattva. Because Advaita Chuta Nadir Ananta Rupam Ajam Purana Purusham Naviyoganam Cha. There's one God, and he just manifests himself in different ways, in different religions even. You know, God has infinite variety of names. Nam Namakari Balda, Vijashara Shaktish. And every religion, you know, Yahweh. I mean, someone just wrote me a note a few minutes ago before I came here, that, because I said that, you know, even Allah is a name of God. And Prabhupada said that. And he got very upset. Now, obviously, most of the people of that particular religion won't agree, you know, that we're worshiping the same God. But that's another thing. But we say that any name you have of God, a bona fide name of God, you refer to him, he'll know that you're calling him. Even the word G-O-D is a name of God. It's a secondary name of God, not a primary name of God. There's secondary names and primary names. Secondary names just refer to God in terms of his position, like God. Paramatma. You understand? The Lord in everyone's heart, the supreme Atma. These are secondary names. Primary names are like Krishna, Govinda, Gopal. These are all primary names. And by chanting the secondary names, you get great benefit too. But by chanting the primary names, you develop an intimate, close relationship with God. That's why we have the name Krishna, and the name Krishna is the most attractive name. Krishna means it gives you bliss. Ananda, Na is short for Ananda, and Krishna means to attract. So by chanting the name Krishna, we experience the highest bliss. And Ram is the same thing. Also, in the Maha Mantra, Ram can refer to Lord Balaram, Lord Ram, and also Radha Raman, which is really interesting. So we chant his name. So anyway, so Krishna showed that he and Ram are the same. That we don't believe in many gods. There's one God. But he's so amazing, he can exhibit himself in an infinite number of places simultaneously doing different things. He's the ultimate multitasker. You understand? I cannot multitask. If I try to do two things at one time, my attention will be diverted from both of those things. Like many times I'm talking to someone on the phone and also typing on the computer at the same time and eating prasadam at the same time. Especially during GPC meetings. But anyway, and then when someone says something to me, it takes me like a half minute to respond. Are you okay? But Krishna can do everything simultaneously, and he's alert and aware of everything he's doing in infinite number of places, and also in the spiritual world. Krishna never leaves the spiritual world, and he's doing all these things. Wow. He's an amazing person, isn't it? He's in everyone's heart. He has all these wonderful incarnations that are going on right now, all these incarnations. Some universe, Macha Avatar is there, Kurma Avatar, and the Sringa Bhagavan is there. All these incarnations like waves of the ocean, unlimited. Bhagavatam describes that there's many incarnations or avatars as there are waves in the ocean, and he's doing it all at the same time. So Krishna shows, in this particular story, that's told in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, that he and Ram are the same. So Krishna transforms self-same body. Krishna comes in his transcendental form. And he's an actor. So Krishna can appear any way he wants. Like an expert actor. Like have you ever seen, none of you have ever seen Bollywood movies, but But in a movie, you see, like, example, you know, I'm not going to pick the name of an actor, like Vivek Oberoi, for example. He's in different roles. And in each film. Sometimes he plays a bad guy, sometimes he plays a good guy. So Krishna's like that too. Krishna never plays a bad guy. So Krishna has different pastimes, and it's all Leela. For us, whatever we do is not Leela, it's we're forced to act by our impulses. But for Krishna, it's Leela. So Krishna manifests himself as Ram, and Rukmini manifests herself as Sita Devi. And so Garuda goes back and says, Sita and Ram would like to see you. And Hanuman says, okay. And Garuda says, you can ride on my back. And Hanuman says, no, why should I ride on your back? I could jump. So he jumps back and he pays his obeisances to Sita and Ram, and he's very happy to see his worshipful deities at this particular point. So there's many different things that are exhibited by this pastime. The Tattva, the same Supreme Personality of God, it appears in various places at various times. And why does he appear? He appears for his own pleasure and to attract us. Because when we hear these pastimes, our minds become attracted to the pastimes of the Lord, and we lose our rasa varja rasa pirasa param jasana. Part of that, we lose our attraction for things of this world. And that's Krishna consciousness. It's a higher taste, a higher pleasure. And then you don't have to negate things of this world. You don't have to think that this is Maya, that is Maya, like they do with Sankhya philosophy, basically. Sankhya means to count, where they actually analyze the material elements and they think, well, I'm not this, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego, the active senses, the perceptive senses. And then I'm not any of those things. Well, all you have to do is hear and chant about Krishna, and then you become so attracted that you lose the ability, not the ability, but you lose the taste for this world. You become happy. And that's Krishna consciousness. So, anyway, so anybody have any questions or comments? Yes, Mother Krishna Priya.
I was just meditating because we were talking about the month of Damodar.
Oh.
And then we were speaking about Lord Ram, and then I was thinking if you can speak a little bit about the speciality that we heard about Ram, but then when we hear about Damodar, that it seems that in that form of Damodar, that form of Krishna, that he's the only one that can really be controlled by the love of his devotees. If you can speak something like that.
Okay, so here's a story about Lord Ram and Vrindavan. So, Krishna said to the gopis, I was Lord Ram before. And the gopi said, if you were Lord Ram, then just build a bridge over the Jamuna. And Krishna calls for his coward boys, and the gopi said, that's not good. No, you have to ask your monkeys to do it. So Krishna called for all the monkeys, and they built a bridge over the Jamuna. So, Kartik, of course, is a very special month that's called the month of Damodar. And of course, Damodar is the pastime where Krishna was tied around his belly with a rope after Mother Yashoda tried probably for several hours to tie him, using all the rope in Vrindavan. And the reason that she couldn't tie, she needed all the rope in Vrindavan is that the rope was always 2 inches short. The reason she was trying to tie up Krishna is because he was acting as a rascal, which he normally is. He had broken all the butter pots, feeding to the monkeys, because he was upset that Yashoda had left him, because the milk was boiling over. And so therefore, Krishna was tied up, and he tied up the grinding mortar, and he dragged it between 2 trees, the twin Arjuna trees, and the 2 trees fell down, and Nalakubra and Manigriva came out of those 2 trees. And they were 2 demigods who were previously, they were sons of Kubera. They were previously attending a party. just like we were in, I just came from North Carolina State, and I was informed by the devotees there was a big party last night, a Halloween party. So in this party, people were so crazy, they were jumping over fences, screaming loud, Who knows whether they're wearing clothes or not? I didn't check with that. And so people get intoxicated because of Janmaishvarya Shutashu Shivi or Edamana Adalpaman. And in the case, that means because of their good birth, because opulence, material opulence, money, because of intelligence, Shutasha Shivir, and because of beauty. So what happened is that these two sons of Kubera had gotten intoxicated because their father was a very rich man, Kubera. He was the treasurer of the demigods. I guess they got to keep some of the money. Or they had good credit cards or something like that. So they got so intoxicated, money does that to you. You see, if someone wins the lottery, they actually become crazy after that. So they became so intoxicated that they thought, well, let me just bathe in this Mandakini Ganges, which is the heavenly Ganges, and with these society girls, heavenly society girls, the Apsaras. And they were completely naked. I mean, this is really terrible. I mean, it's like nowadays, not nowadays, but when I was young on this Earth planet, well, on this Earth planet, there were these festivals, and they still are, but there was this one festival, Woodstock. I think Krishna Priya was there, right? And people were walking around. There's films about it, people walking around naked. And Prabhupada, when Prabhupada went to, one time he went to preach at a nudist colony, where people were walking around naked, and Prabhupada was just disgusted. Of course, some of those nudists later on became devotees in our movement. That's how merciful he was. And the one time I went to preach at a rainbow festival, I wasn't so merciful, I just couldn't stand it. So I just ran away. I said, get me out of here. This is disgusting. So, but Prabhupada was more merciful than me. So what happened is that these guys, Manigriva and Nalakupara, were bathing in the heavenly Ganges, and what happened is Narada Muni came, and they were naked, and the girls were naked, and the girls had more intelligence than the boys. Sometimes the men are very proud, and they think they have more intelligence than the women. But in this case, the girls covered themselves, and Manigriva and Nalakupara, they just said, "Hi, Narada." Can you imagine that? That shows intoxication with wealth. You think you can get away with anything. And so Narada Muni, out of his compassion, he cursed them to become trees in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj for 100 celestial years. And then Krishna knocked them down. They got liberated after 100 celestial years. That's a long time. And then they went back, and they went back to their positions. So that's why it's called the month of Damodar. Now, it's a very special month because one makes great spiritual progress during this month by engaging not in austerities. Don't think of austerities. I'm against austerities. It's against my religion. But increasing your hearing and chanting. Some people think they will be Krishna conscious just by eating very little. Or, like, you have this ritual for many, many people. They think that they can not shave their beards. This only refers to men, of course. And not shave their nails for the whole Chaturmasya period. I mean, some great devotees do that. But that's not how you make spiritual advancement. You make spiritual advancement by increasing your hearing and chanting. Maybe chant more rounds, distribute more of Prabhupada's books. Because Krishna says in the Gita, talk about being dear to Krishna. He talks about those who teach this Bhagavad Gita to the devotees, they are most dear to me. So my viewpoint on austerities during Kartik is that I just want to reach out and preach. I hate to use that word preach, but share Krishna consciousness more and more during Kartik with other people. And I personally experienced in my own Krishna consciousness, or attempt to be Krishna consciousness, that whenever I would engage in bringing people to Krishna consciousness, I would feel more ecstasy and more connected to Krishna than any other time. And it is a fact. When I was young, and Ditchin Narayan Prabhu will like this story, which I tell, we used to go on traveling Sankirtan, and we'd stay out for 12 hours a day distributing books, and the ecstasy was tangible after 12 hours. You can actually touch the ecstasy. Seriously. And we'd read a book, and the word confirmed. See? That's confirmed. That's the American version of a tiki-tiki wizard. So we read the book, and the words would jump out of the page at us. So Kartik is a very special time for remembering Krishna and giving others Krishna, and remembering Krishna's pastimes, and spreading Krishna's names everywhere. And that's what my life is dedicated to, doing that. And also, thinking about Krishna's pastimes. Usually, in the past, I've gone to Govardhana during Kartik. But actually, what gives me the most pleasure at Govardhana is when I take people around and I explain to them, because they feel really connected to Krishna. If I'm just there by myself, I spend time by myself at Govardhana during the summer, because nobody will join me then. It's like 50 degrees centigrade. And so, can't go out during the day. At night, I go out at night, at 8 o'clock in the morning, I just put my food out to be cooked outside. And it gets cooked, it's great. Don't need a stove ready. But the greatest pleasure I take is when I take, in Govardhana, is when I take people out, I explain Krishna's pastimes, and they connect with the Supreme Personality of God, and their life is changed. So that's my experience with Kartik, to actually bring people to Krishna. So I use Kartik as a preaching time, rather than just going into isolation and just thinking about Krishna and Vrindavan, which we could do. But it's just so much nicer, and I can actually feel Prabhupada's pleasure when we bring people to Krishna. So, I hope that explains Kartik. I'm not going to get too much into it. I can tell stories about the gopis and everything. So, anyone else have any questions about Kartik? Kartik? Or Chaturmasha? Prabhupada said, when he saw the devotees growing beards in Chaturmasha, he said, it's Chaturmas. Prabhupada said we should be Kesha Hin. Krishna is Keshava. What does Keshava mean? Long black hair. Kesha Hin means what? Without hair. At least no hair there. So, any other questions before we take prasad? Yes.
Just one doubt. The pastime that you told about Garuda and Hanuman,
Yeah.
in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, if I'm not wrong, it's mentioned between Sudarshan and Hanuman? Or
And the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Sudarshan's not mentioned as far as I remember. It's Hanuman.
it's
Hanuman and Garuda.
Yeah.
That's what I read.
Maybe.
Maybe it's a different version of it. Well, some of the Puranas have a different version of that story. That's true. I mean, I've actually, actually I saw one Hindi film that had that version. Yes, you're right.
Which one?
It was a Hindi film, I forget which one. It was like, I watch all these Bollywood movies and I forget which one I'm watching.
I didn't see any Bollywood.
No, but I know you didn't, but I do. No, this was, I'm just teasing. This was a movie about, it was actually a series about Hanuman. Or some Purana, you know, Padma Purana or Vishnu Purana or something like that.
Somewhere mentioned that
And it had that.
then Sudarshan became a stick because
Yeah, but not the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. It's, if you go, there's some different versions of the stories in the Padma Purana or the other Puranas. But I remember seeing that in the movie. Seriously. I did see that in the movie. The Vishnu Purana, yeah. Probably Vishnu Purana is in there. So I'm just referring to Brihad Bhagavatamrita. And you know, there's different versions of the stories. Sometimes people question why there are different versions of the stories. Well, these things occur in different yugas. So that's why. So, any other questions or comments? Yes?
Why Chaturmasya is followed and what is the significance of all the 4 restrictions?
Okay. So Chaturmasya is followed as a tradition because that generally was the rainy season in India. And during that time, people could not travel, especially sannyasis. Now, sannyasis are a unique breed. You don't want them getting attached to anything. Just like I'm attached to my computer or so forth. So sannyasis, and when you stay in a place for a while, you know, it's my home. I've experienced that under COVID. You know, my home, my computer, my disciples. So much is mine today. So much more will be mine tomorrow. I'm making a joke about it, but it's actually good for a sannyasi to travel. As they say, you know, you just don't. A rolling stone gathers no moss, as they say. So if someone has to stay in a place for 4 months, it's generally for sannyasis. If someone sannyasi has to stay in a place for 4 months, then special austerities are recommended so that the sannyasi doesn't get attached. Special dietary restrictions are recommended. And not just sannyasis, but Brahmins too, because you're just trapped because of rain. Nowadays, you have different means of transportation. And so, therefore, you give up certain things, certain austerities on certain months, and then you take certain vows, and that helps you become detached during the rainy season. And that's the origin. I mean, of course, they also talk about Lord Vishnu has been sleeping for those 4 months. But the Mahavishnu sleeps for the whole time, right? Yeah, Yoga Nidra. Lord Vishnu has been sleeping during the whole creation. We're all in his dream. Talk about simulation hypothesis. We're all in Mahavishnu's dream. So, my understanding, there was a reason for it, and the reason was the rainy season. And it's a good reason, too. And it's not the rainy season here right now, but we do, because it's the tradition, we do observe the restrictions. We do observe restrictions. But they're not on the same level as chanting Hare Krishna and not on the same level as Ekadasi or any of these other points. But yes, I do stop eating certain things on certain months. Actually, I don't think I ever take bird dal, except in Hindus. Anyway, I don't, and generally I don't take yogurt or milk, so. But I do try to perform more service during these 4 months, especially during Kartik. You get more benefit because it's Krishna's month. It's like if you go to Braj, you get many times, like 100, 1,000 times more benefit for your service, but also you can get a heavier reaction in Braj if you don't act nicely. That's why it's generally recommended that if someone goes to Vrindavan, they only stay for a fortnight. Because after a while, people become complacent and they take the Holy Dham as an ordinary place. So it would be very dangerous. Unless someone is very advanced, they shouldn't be staying in Vrindavan like that. They can go, get some spiritual energy, and come back. So, that's my understanding of the origin of Chaturmash. And everything has a purpose. You know, if we look at any ritual that we do, and we do rituals, they're all connected with a reason for doing that particular thing. So if you're doing something, you have to really think about, why am I doing what I'm doing? Not just that I do it. Like, you know, sometimes people put on a tilak and they just do it ritualistically. It's like war paint or something like that. You know, tilak, 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 tilak. Okay, I'm ready to go. But you should be thinking, these are names of Krishna. You're signifying that your body is a temple of God. That's what you should be thinking when you put on tilak. Not just the mantras, but you should think of why you're doing what you're doing. I know this is a common theme I always talk about. To be connected with the why whenever you're doing anything. So, my body belongs to Krishna. Manasadeha deha yokishmor. Arvilam to your body. Nanda Kishore. My mind, my body, my home, everything belongs to you, Krishna. And just like you have an altar here, you know, the deities, or then usually you think they're the boss of the house. It's not my house, it's their house. And also in the temple, it's Radhagolokadanda's temple. It's not my temple. I have no right to possession to it. So I'm just being asked by Krishna to be his representative, take care of it for right now. Whoops. Someone's phone. Whose phone? It's probably something important. Like Krishna is saying, it's time for prasadam. There's signs. You got to take signs. You know, like when the birds chirp, or when the phone goes off, it means something. Or when the deer crosses the road in a certain way, or comes back in the other way. Everything has a purpose. One time I was supposed to go on a trip, and I walked out my door, and there was a dead bird on the road. And I said, forget it, cancel the trip. So everything has a purpose. Even if someone becomes expert at seeing different signs, they can understand these things. So, if no other questions, we can take prasad. Any other questions or comments or problems? Yes?
I have some announcements.
Oh, announcements from our sponsor. Yeah, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. So let's first of all thank Maharaj for the wonderful narration. Bir Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki
Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. So, thank you. So nice to have such a wonderful association. So we'd like to thank Prashant Prabhu, Bhavani Mataji, Ruchika for hosting this wonderful program today. So we'd like to thank all the devotees who have been involved with the cooking, and I know Kirtan Mataji and I know many other devotees have been involved with the cooking. So we'd like to thank all the devotees. And a few quick announcements is coming up next Saturday, that is 6th of November, we'll be celebrating Diwali Govardhana Puja festival at the temple. So actually after Janmashtami, this is like our second biggest festival. And the highlights of the festival is we have like a big Govardhan hill, made of sweets. So we'd like to encourage everyone, if you like to bring any kind of sweets or savories or anything that you feel you can actually offer to Giriraj Govardhan, please bring. And program starts at 4 o'clock. So if you like to help build a beautiful hill, please come earlier from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock we'll be actually making the hill, and we want to make a beautiful hill for Giriraj Govardhan, and also we want to mark Radha Kund, Sham Kund, and Govinda Kund, and all the different places around Giriraj Govardhan. So certainly Giriraj Govardhan by big hill will be there, offering of ghee lamps. there's beautiful dramas. I know Pratna Mataji, Govardhana Acharya Prabhu and other devotees are planning a nice drama. There's going to be dance performance. There's going to be many prasadam food stalls, and then opulent prasadam feast. So very, very wonderful festival. Please, I think the messages have gone out on WhatsApp groups. Please share that information to your local communities or wherever you can share. So please help us share, spread the message of this Diwali Govardhana Puja. That is on 6th of November, next Saturday. So one way you can help is bring some sweets or savories for the hill. Come early, help build a beautiful Giriraj Govardhan hill. The other way you can actually help with this festival is we always need help with the cooking. So there's going to be cooking on Saturday starting from 11 a.m. all the way till 5 p.m. And we have big, huge cooking. So if you like to help with that cooking seva or puris, rolling, frying puris, another big seva. So that is on Saturday. And on Sunday, 7th of November, is the disappearance day of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So on Sunday, again we'll have a festival starting at 4 p.m. as a part of a Sunday feast program. So there will be offerings to Srila Prabhupada and Pushpanjali and Artik of Srila Prabhupada. So that will be on Sunday. So on both days we need help in the kitchen from 11 to 5 on both Saturday and Sunday. And on Saturday will be the bigger festival. Like a lot of people normally they come for Diwali Govardhan Puja. So please try to come early, help with the building the Govardhan hill, and like to volunteer in the kitchen. Okay.
Right now, tomorrow.
Yes. And yes, Prabhu, I'm coming to that. And also, when we actually build the Giriraj Govardhan hill, we have Krishna Balram deities, and right around Krishna Balram deities, if you have like figurines of like gopas or gopis or cows, or if you like to make something over the week, you can bring that and we'll have it around Krishna Balram and with Krishna lifting the Govardhan hill. Right? So you can bring that, you can engage children also in that nice service, bringing some cows. So the Krishna Balram deities are maybe this height, so proportionately you can make the Govardhan. So that's, please share the information. Coming weekend, 6th and 7th of November. And Haribol. And then tomorrow, Bir Krishna Goswami Maharaj will be giving initiation tomorrow. Tomorrow is Ekadashi, a very auspicious day in the month of Kartik. And many of the devotees here, few of the devotees here, we have Srinivas Prabhu, Nandini Mataji, Shiva Prabhu, Padmaja Mataji, and then Srujana and Nilima Mataji. Few of our close devotees are getting initiated tomorrow. So please do come tomorrow and you can bless the initiates and be a part of this very important